There's what we say, and then there's what we don't. And often it's the unspoken that holds the most power. Welcome to the Unspoken Edge, a space where hidden dynamics, quiet tensions, and unacknowledged truths are named, held, and turned into grounded action. I'm Rachel Keck, coach, facilitator, and founder of Mosaic Collaborative. I work with visionary leaders who want growth that's sustainable, relational, and real. Here, we explore what's beneath the surface, the energy under leadership, the patterns, resistance, and the truth shaping how we lead and live. In every episode, we'll name what's missing, hold what's tense, and follow the thread to what's real. Because clarity creates traction, and legacy, it's not just what you leave behind, it's how you lead today. Let's begin. Hello, everyone. Today, I am talking to Carrie Allen. Carrie Allen and I were divinely connected by a mutual friend. And I met Carrie and she described what she was doing. And I thought, this is exactly, it came at a time actually where I was confused. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing. I was looking for my people. I was looking for direction. And I met you. And it did feel, well, we're probably soulmates in our chart. But anyways, I am thrilled to have this conversation with you today. So will you tell everybody a little bit about you and what you do?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel the same. So I'm Carrie Allen. I'm founder and CEO of The Human Array, and we're on a mission to bring holistic health out of the shadows and into the light. And we're doing that in a variety of different ways, including the Holistic Health Hub, so that all holistic health can be found in one vetted and trusted place. And so much more, but I'm sure we'll get into that because the evolution is real.
No kidding. It changes, I'm sure, on the ready, because you didn't say what I thought you were going to say, which was the Uber of wellness, which I was like, oh my God, that is really okay. I'm in. I'm in on that.
It's because right, it is that. And now I recognize that's only a slice of the pie, even though it is the pie at the same time, which is, okay, we also are the Google for holistic health, layered with the Uber for holistic health and wellness, right?
So
So
to
yeah.
learn, there's learning and there's resources. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest part of this evolution is learning how to hold all of that together in the education space, right? That it is about connection and it is about connecting people to the right things. And at the same time, um, because so much of this is new to a lot of people, it's about how do you educate people to move them through the process as well. And so, yeah, it's its own journey and it's a lot of fun, but it continues to clarify and evolve. Yeah.
Well, and I will reflect to you just witnessing you and the team behind the human array, the intentionality, the stories of each of you. Like you are, it feels like you're each evolving as the human array evolves. And there's an intention, there's a vision and intention that I think is super attractive and really honestly I'm I'm gonna say energetic, but it's like this like buzzing. It's like a moth to a flame sort of thing for me. Like I just feel the intentionality and like each of your stories and then how it's coming together is
Thank you.
really cool, really cool.
I mean, I am so like, I mean, most days I wake up in like this incredibly like surreal gratitude of like the people that are on my team. I have a team. I have these amazing people on my team that feel so aligned to it. It just yeah, but it takes a lot to get to that alignment too.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and balancing. I think we talked about maybe the first time we met each other, balancing some of, like, the masculine and feminine pieces, like, I feel like you all are really trying to be intentional about, a lot of my work is how do we have this shift of, like, feminine energy is values and vision and clarity. Yeah, it's all these things, and those masculine energies of action and structure and all that should serve those feminine energies in each of us and together. And I feel like you all are really trying to be intentional about those energies.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I do think, we bring a lot of awareness to that in every single one of our conversations, and it has been probably one of the biggest things for me to continue to bring awareness to of how those energies feel actually, and when they're creating friction or when they're creating growth. And that can be one and the same too, but um a lot of times something will come up that feels like really important for us to do, and yet there's a lot of friction in the action, right? And so then that's stepping back and saying, okay, how do we hold that vision, that goal, or that energy, right? That feminine flow of that awareness coming in, and at the same time say, and that doesn't mean I have to move today. That means it we will work towards that. And that, for me personally, is actually really challenging because I get these like lightning bolt, like, yes, go. And then having to take a breath and say, okay, and is what action actually needs to happen today? And um, what is voicing it so that we can all hold that vision and then each bring our parts to it to be able to co-create it. Um, it's definitely a dance. I have practiced a lot, and yet I keep coming up against new opportunities to practice. Um, so I think that is part of what we do as an organization is we practice these things together. Like I don't know if anybody joined our like meetings, they would say, "What this is just so different than anywhere else," right? Because we all bring that like intention, practice, mentality into the space to say, okay, yes, I can jump on this. I can take that action. And at the same time, like, here's how I'm feeling today. And this is going to be a not today thing. And we just hold that space for each other, knowing that we're all moving through different pieces that are bringing this together. And so if somebody's blocked at this moment, we can trust that okay, well, it doesn't have to like, that's that friction that you start to tap into to say, "Okay, well, we move very intentionally." So if something feels blocked, then we all pay attention to that and say like, "Okay, well, what's the block here? Is it inside of me? Is it a thing I'm afraid to do? How can we support each other in that? Is it, where is that coming from?" And to me, that actually is a huge shift from a business perspective about how you think about growth and building something. Because we've been trained to like push through, like use that masculine like action to just go without regard. And so one of the things I talk about pretty frequently is like fake urgency. Just
Mm.
because we're excited about something. And I believe that's our future selves saying, yeah, 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 keep coming, you've got it. And also, like, fake urgency is, like, baked into us at this point that, like, if you're excited about something, you need to make it happen rather than just flowing through it creating itself.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, anyways, a little bit of a tangent there,
Mhm.
but, thank you for reflecting that about the team because, it is, like, all my hopes and dreams of, like, having this space with this group of people, and so I love it.
Well, just I mean, as a culture coach, I'm listening to you, and it's cultural alignment is what you're doing, right? Even your meetings are in alignment with the culture that you're creating. But oh my goodness, that fake urgency and
and it is exciting. There's an excitement about it. Um, and if it's not balanced, I'm also thinking about how that's why we need each other. Because some of us, I think about different things that we align on, just ways of kind of intuition and knowledge gaining things, right? And like there are different energy types and there are different and so we need all these pieces to really have a whole. Right? They all need to have a part and voices, and so, um, yeah, I love it. Okay. Geez, we could keep going
I
on
know,
that.
I was like, "I have so much more to say."
I have a question for you. Okay. The question I have for you is what is something unspoken that's been quietly shaping how you lead, decide, or connect with others? And and once acknowledged, that revealed a deeper part of your legacy in the making.
So, the thing that is very prevalent for me at this very moment is that, I am in the midst of what I consider transforming my inside world and merging it with my external world, or my external expression, let's say. So, for those that do astrology, that's like my rising sign, which is kind of like yourself, your inner world, and my sun sign, which is like your outside personality. And quite frankly, those were very confusing for me up until like a month ago. I was like, I do not understand. I feel both of them. How are they different? And at this moment, what feels like me stepping into the next version of myself and creating that legacy is that I have cultivated over building this business, quite frankly. It has been calling this up and out of me. Um, that internal world is valid, that it is experience, that it is knowledge and wisdom gained over a lifetime, my lifetime thus far, um, and that should be shared with the world externally. And that feels terrifying because, right, it's your like inner world. It's kind of the world that I think for a long time we keep safe without even maybe realizing we keep it safe. And so for me, that's Virgo in me, which is my incessant need to understand the body and health, like earth, natural cycles, how the earth works for us, like, and I've always felt that, and it's been growing as I've lived life, right? And and now it feels like I'm in this transition of becoming that inner world externally, and that feels scary and also so right at the same time. But I bump up against, well, do people even know who that person is? Or you don't have letters after your name based on that. Which
Mhm.
my Sagittarius is like, "Nobody needs letters, like, I don't care about that," right? But the inner person is like, "Yeah, yeah, but I've never been shown before, so, like, what's going to happen when I start to peek out from behind this curtain?" And yet, at the same time, it's like this, "But this is who I am." So it's a very confusing experience at the same time, and you could equate that to the midlife crisis or awakening or just, an evolutionary period in your life. You could use any system you want to be able to explain this transition. It could be for women like perimenopause and into menopause, whatever that is. I think they all are true and they are all different versions and moments for each of us. But for me, this business has been that, and that I am bringing my passion, what has been my inner world, my inner passion, the thing that I research all the time, the thing that I am obsessed with, out into the light. And that to me feels like super alignment with my legacy, right? Because um, what other way am I going to imprint this world with my essence than showing that inner essence, right? Leaving marks of it in whatever way is true for me. And like that innermost being of ourselves feels like the best way to do that. So, I'll pause there and see what questions or thoughts you have because I could go in lots of different directions,
Oh
but
my gosh, there's so many questions I have. One, I mean, I guess where I want to start is what is I'm curious more about the fear of exposing the inner world, and also like have how long I mean, what you're saying really resonates, and it does resonate with like this idea of midlife emergence where we've been, we're becoming aware of what's inside of us and legacy, and we're y- you don't have forever, and so what are you going to, it's time to let it out.
yeah.
But I'm curious, like, how did that awareness come where you noticed, oh wait, I have all this inside of me that actually I'm keeping to myself, one, and two, what's the fear, what do you think the fear is?
For me personally, I don't know if you've noticed, things are a little bit turbulent in the world right now. So my particular passion is a little bit taboo, is a little bit heretical. I think there is a lot of history that makes what I want to speak to in particular scary. And that's for me personally, but also the way that I want to help people bring it out into the world or not feel like they have to keep it in the shadows anymore. Like, that's not just me doing it, it's me leading and championing for every person on the planet to do the same. And that means I have to go first. And so, I think, my personal experience and life, and if you know anything about Virgo energy, it's a lot of perfectionist. It's a lot of also people pleaser and like those sorts of energies. And that has certainly been my experience in life. Things have worked for me, and at the same time, I went with the flow, right? And now this inner world is asking me to stand up and have a voice for something that I know deeply in myself. And at the same time is controversial, pokes a lot of people, is potentially going to be really challenging for me to manage. And so that fear is stepping in and holding the ability for all of that to be true. And also, that doesn't make me bad, not enough, any of those core wounds. Um, and personally, I've been doing actually a lot of nervous system work to be able to like clear out whatever those things are for myself so that I can hold that calm, safe space as others step into this because it's a bumpy ride. And I think that's intentional, that I can't speak to how hard that is unless I've experienced it. Like, you got to feel it to build it, right? Great.
Super. Who designed that?
Like, what is this craziness that was constructed here?
Oh, oh, I
Oh my
know.
God.
The vulnerability, though. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It's like we're conditioned around this perfectionism and getting it right, I mean, that's what our school says. There's so many systems that condition us around this, right? Religious systems and education systems, and then we come to this place where it's like, no, we feel like we have to pioneer something. And bring what's outside in,
Yeah.
to being. And it is so vulnerable, and it is like trailblazing in whatever way it is. And something that you said that just like, oh my gosh, I just felt it so deeply was what is legacy if you're not bringing your essence into the world? If you're keeping it inside, like, if you're protecting it. And so I'm curious, I wanna know more about that. Like, what is your say more about that.
Yeah, well, For me, that essence is really like your authentic state, right? Like my business's name is the Human Array for a dual purpose. One, we are the human array, meaning everybody on this planet is an array. There is no duplicates, there are no copies, there are no reprints, right? It is legitimately each person is unique and has their own essence. And unfortunately, the world has kind of indicated we should be safe by being like others rather than being ourselves. And we've not cultivated this safety in expressing ourselves fully as ourselves. And so, one, I just want to bring that into the world. Like, yes, be you. Show me your quirky, weird stuff. Like, yes, that's what makes you so, like, I love that you do this weird thing every time you call me, whatever that is, right? I really love that stuff. I think that that is what makes humans humans. And I just want us to be able to embrace that. Two, the other side of the human array is that individually we are an array as well, which means we have different facets. We show up in different ways, in different roles, in different places, in different moments. And that can actually be really confusing at a certain point because what is my essence? Wait, when I go to work, I feel pretty good, but I show up this way when I'm at home. And I think when we start to feel the friction between those roles showing up, it's maybe because we haven't really clarified for ourselves, like, who am I and what is my essence? Once I think we can anchor into that essence, then we can show up in all those roles in all those different ways, still feeling true to ourselves rather than like masking, right? Which has been like a common term that people have started talking about, like you're masking at work. Well, masking doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just I'm an array. That is a different part of me that shows up there than at home or with my husband or with my mother, right? And so, but I think the challenge is being able to integrate all of those parts and have them rooted in what that essence is. Then you're moving through the world, no matter how you're operating or where you're operating, leaving that essence because people are feeling that truth from deep inside of you, even if you're not saying it. Uh, and I think the funny part is, I think we do this even though we don't think that we do, right? But it's a journey to kind of really understand it better for yourselves, to feel, for me at least personally, it's like that I don't feel like I'm showing up inauthentically in certain places, um, just because I'm not sharing everything about me. um, yeah.
Well, which goes back to me, I think, with some of the perfectionism we've been conditioned into, right? Is this is what integrity is, or this is the best way to be, or whatever that keeps us not compassionate and accepting of our different parts. Well, and some of and we are different. I mean, I loved how you talked about just no reprints. I love that. No reprints. That each of us are a different makeup, right? And some of us, you know, some of us do know who we are. We know the direction. We know who we are. We show up that way. And some of us are open. We are different people with different, and we all have different parts inside of us, right? And so how do we, yeah, I just, what I'm going back to, Carrie, is you talking about even meetings and how you all show up in the human array in a meeting. And this, when I heard you talking about it, it felt like spaciousness. Like there was some space. Intentionally, there was space for everyone to show up in authenticity and integrity,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And that is, I think, what sometimes that fake urgency, like when you talk about like business outcomes, or you talk about like there are certain things that cause friction with the spaciousness needed for authenticity and integrity. Um, and it takes commitments.
Yes.
Yes.
to prioritize the spaciousness.
Yeah. It really, really does. There's a couple of examples that are popping into mind as you say that. One, I just have to like go back to my younger self and give her so much love and grace because I can remember when I moved to New York, I was 26 at the time, and that early 20s me had this very clear understanding that you do not share anything about your personal life at work. Like that just doesn't happen. And I honestly have no idea where that came from other than just like collective gunk stuck to me in some ways. But I can really remember how inauthentic I would feel because something was happening. I moved halfway across the country and it was like I had to show up okay. Like, I don't know anybody here. Like, things are hard right now, but you have to go to work and do the thing. And like, I had people that cared and were trying, and there was a friction there. And so when I think about how our team operates now, like there are days that I show up to team meetings where I'm in tears. Like that is just things are hard right now. I know that it will move us into a better, clearer place. It is removing something in me to be able to take the next step. And that's just what's meant to happen that day. And we have to let go of whatever else was meant to unfold. And the perfectionist in me requires a lot of practice at this. And yet I know it's the truth and I know it's the way it's meant to be. And so we just keep doing it. And that has meant that team members will say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. The kids are home, all these things." And I'm like, it's okay. And every single time that has happened. And we just say, it's okay. Whatever was meant to be happening with you here is not that urgent. And magically, every single time, something clarifies where we would have, yeah, we could have done that. That's true. And we potentially would have done work we didn't need to do because we didn't listen to the friction that was happening. Right? So, or it didn't allow us to access something different because we had to figure out how to operate without this person there. Right? Or it gave somebody else new exposure. And that doesn't mean that person doesn't come back. It doesn't mean they aren't valued. It doesn't mean they aren't excessively important. But allowing that puzzle to shapeshift constantly is like a layer and deep trust of the team members, each other, knowing that, and actually really, really more importantly, cultivating within each of ourselves that like healing of like, I can just do what is most important in my life and trust that that is creating ripples for anybody else in my life, including this work container in the best possible ways. And I mean, it has happened no less than, I don't know, once a month for us of somebody moving through something happening, us adjusting. And every single time we have said, okay, you go do what you need to do. No questions asked. We're checking in on you. We're sending you love, like whatever you need from us. And at the same time, like, you need to focus where you need to focus. And every single time it has brought a new person in. It has brought a up level for somebody else, for myself, for the business in whole, for that person, quite frankly, that when they come back in, they leap up a level. Like it is just, it is a new way of operating in business that I know is the way we're meant to do it going forward, which is deep trust in every person that is here. But it requires that truth and honesty and that vulnerability to say, like, today's a crap day. I'm not doing it. And that's really, and we've actually seen it even with the practitioners that we support that, somebody will come up against something and they'll say, oh, I thought I was going to do this thing and it was going to go out the door and I had all these intentions and I was going to make it happen. And then the universe threw a big old wall in front of me I'm so sorry. And they will be so apologetic. And we just say, that's okay. It's okay. When it's meant to happen, it will happen. And we've had multiple people say, like, you holding that space has allowed me to heal things from a business perspective. I had no idea were even inside of me because I was holding myself to arbitrary deadlines, arbitrary days, times, whatever that is. And look, I am all about action. And sometimes you need to put, a goalpost down to be able to say, this is what we're working towards, because action is actually how you recognize and see what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing, right? You can't feel that friction. You can't feel the wall come down if you're just sitting here waiting. So we do need to take steps. We do need to put things into motion, but we also need to feel into, like, is this too hard? This shouldn't be so hard. Why is this so hard? Like, how do we ask those questions? And I can think about multiple of the organizations that I worked for, which you just plowed through the hard. You just plowed through it. And almost every single time, the thing never worked right. It was the thing that, like, slipped out of the organization unintentionally sometimes. That was like the thing that caught fire, right? Um, that's actually what's happening for us in this moment. I feel like I've been building the business backwards, like, just, okay, take an action. Okay, great, great, great. That's too hard. Okay, how do we make it simpler? Okay, great. Progress, simpler. Okay, not clear enough yet. Okay, how do we keep going? And this weekend, it was as if I found the starting line, and I, in 24 hours, everything clicked together and is moving with an ease that is almost incomprehensible. And I'm appreciating that. And also, like, where's the I'm
Where's
waiting.
yeah. Fail. Where's the
This is a
shoe?
little,
Where's it gonna drop?
yeah, this is a
It
little too
can't be that
easy.
easy. I know we're so trained out of ease. So trained out of ease. It can be that easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's so amazing. Okay, we could go on. I feel like we have to have a part two because the way that you talk about, well, number one, nervous systems running a meeting and how our nervous systems show up and really lead. But like when you said you moved across the country, your nervous system was going to run. Your nervous system was showing up even though you were trying to keep it in check. Just like it's showing up now when you have the space to, like, bring it openly and honestly to the meeting. And then the way that you talk, I mean, I just keep thinking about sustainability and how, like, really prioritizing sustainability and how we do things is just a different, it is countercultural, I will say. Um, so we're gonna have to have a part 2.
Can
Is
I
Yeah.
tease that part too by saying I would actually offer it's not sustainability, it's regeneration.
Oh, I love that.
Because sustainability keeps us here, but it's movement. We need more movement, right? Even the sustainability movement is not a movement. It's like, stay, stay, stay. Don't move.
Sustaining.
Regeneration.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, yeah. Okay. Yes. Teaser for part 2. Oh, God. Why did
I was like, I have to say it. I can't
I
not say it. It just has
I
to happen.
Yes, sustainability and regeneration and what those mean and the differences. I love that. Okay, anything else, Carrie, anything else you want to say before we wrap up this conversation? I know we want to say 50 bajillion things.
I know, I know, I know. The only thing I want to say is one step at a time. That transformation, moving into a new way of doing things doesn't happen overnight. And so give yourself a lot of grace. Just the awareness of wanting to move is a huge step. Huge step. We don't celebrate that one enough. It is like the number one pillar in my methodology. And when you come into that awareness, like, it's going to happen. You can trust that. And so um I'm just grateful to be able to be in a space where I can practice this. And the last thing I would say is the thing that is ease, you will probably hear about very soon, which is just your daily dose of holistic health so that you can take each of those steps as you move forward. And I couldn't be more lit up by what's happening and what's unfolding. And so I can't wait to come back and share more, but this is awesome.
Awesome. Okay, how can everybody find you?
Yeah.
Right.
You can find us at thehumanarray.com. We're also on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok. That's probably all. YouTube. I also have a podcast called The Great Connect, and that's where we get a chance to connect you to yourself, to others, and back to nature.
The name.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
this conversation.
So fun. I love this.
Our guests bring such clarity and depth. If you want to explore more of their work, you'll find links in the show notes. And thank you, listener, for joining me on the Unspoken Edge, the place where we name what's missing so you can lead from what matters. If something resonated with you today, share this episode with a friend or a colleague. Leave a review or subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you're navigating unseen tensions in your leadership or culture, let's connect. You'll find me at mosaiccollaborative.com, because legacy isn't a final chapter. It's what you live into, one conversation at a time.